Decided not to go out for a walk this time. It's a bit chilly, a bit misty this morning. But I know we can hear the sound of the road that come off and booed to the side of us, but I just thought I'd leave the camera on for a couple of minutes, because in between the traffic I'd just like you to hear the bird song. You can throw all the lorries on the road, all the cars on the road, everything you like, but behind it all, at least for the moment, nature is still there. Will the powers that be ever wake up and realise that if we're not careful, even what nature is still there may one day decide to say to us, you know what, stuff you, I'm out of here. And the day we lose some of these views and some of these sounds and the wonderful feelings that we can get just listening to the bird song and watching animals and birds go about doing their own thing. If we ever lose that, that will be a very sad day indeed, because that will probably mark the end of civilization as we know it. It's happened before, many, many, many years ago. I do hope it doesn't happen again. But we're in danger of heading that way, aren't we? Anyway, I just felt moved to do my Richard Attenborough bit this morning. I won't bore you anymore. At least I hope you're not bored, but I know there are those that probably don't want to listen to 3 or 4 minutes of this, so I'll leave it for now, and off to Penzance today, but I don't want to spend all day in Penzance. I've got somewhere in mind to go. I ain't saying where, but we'll see if we get there. Just thought I'd show you a few things while I'm standing in Penzance bus station. There's a big sign there. First of all, welcome to Penzance. And look at the colourful array of buses here. Most of them seem to be operated by Plymouth City Bus on behalf of the Cornish Council. And a look around the old harbour. And I'm going to board the bus now and go down the Mousehole. Alright, 1.5 miles. Oh yeah. here in Mousehole at the bus terminus. Look at that. There he goes. And then he reverses back. That's why they've only ever had tiny little buses on here. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, Y-I-L, yep. Irish, yep. So, this is Mousehole and the ship in. And I'm standing beside the warming oil. This tiny little harbour. And over there's a little island. No idea what it is. And there's the War Memorial. And a better view of that building. I do wonder what it is. Let's see what I can find out. That is St Clement's Isle, the site of 3 monasteries built from the 14th century onwards, now ruined. Now that is why I use the tiny little buses, because you've got to get here and up there. It's a 90-degree turn and only just room even for a little up there solo. And here we have this lovely shop, the Mousehole or Mousehole. We're at the other end of the harbour now. Now I'm going to focus in on those little cottages down the other end. There's the smell of seaweed and all things sea. Yeah, look at that. You almost get right into their front doors, can't you? And then up on the hillside above. There's a few more, look. Fancy coming to live here? Yeah. Got your pub. Ship in. And a most unusual clock. Let's see if I can... Where is it? Find it in a minute. There. That almost looks like a later edition. The brick looks quite new. Maybe it's been renewed, I don't know. Let's focus in on that writing. If I can hold it long enough, I can do a freeze frame. Oh, it's not writing, it's wooden slats. Stupid boy. And there you go, 11:10 on a Thursday morning, end of April 2022. What are they doing down there? Look at that. And that is Mousehole. Now taking a look along the Cornish coastline towards the Lizard, Elston, Falmouth, and coming this way you've got St Michael's Mount. There we are, we'll just focus in on that. Now some of the party have gone up the top there, and that is where I would have liked to go, until I was told that the National Trust wanted £24.50, and I wasn't paying that. Porthenis is Mousehole in Cornish. The name first recorded in 1267. Mousehole was not mentioned until 1283. It actually went on very quickly to become the biggest and most important fishing port in the whole of Mainz Bay, until it went into decline after the 16th century. This is where stargazy pie was invented, at one Tom Bangkok's Eve, which is a festival held on the 23rd of December each year. All the buildings in the original Mousehole, bar one, were destroyed in a raid in 1595 by one Carlos de Amasquita, some Spanish raider, probably quite an important one for true of his name, but anyway, he destroyed the village all but one building, which was the Kegwin Arms, a famous pub in its time, and now is just a private house. And that is a very brief history of Mousehole. It's so tight for a bus. Moulin Harbour. In December 1981, all 8 members of the crew of the Penlee lifeboat were lost in a heroic mission in the midst of some of the worst ever weather. The lifeboat station was then resited from Mousehole to Newlyn. Newlyn appears to now be the biggest port in the area. It was also famous in its day for the artist colony, and later on for Newlyn Harbour pottery, many examples of which are still available. I'm just standing here alongside Mr. Brunel's terminus at Penzance, probably the furthest westerly station on the English mainland. We're going to take a closer look in a minute, but over there in the platform there's one of Great Western Railway's shortened HST units, what they call the Castle class now, I think it is. And I see in the platform underneath the famous retaining wall there's a couple of IE, they call IE 800, the intercity trains they got now. We're going to take a close look at that. There's a lot of traffic here now. But, it's a lovely station, very well preserved. Smashing. Right next to it is the bus station, and somewhere over that way is the ferry terminal, though I don't know how frequently the ferry goes to the Scilly Isles from here these days. But that's the seafront, such as it is, here at Penzance. Well, the Paddington train sneaked out. I don't know when he left, but I just had to get this in. This is Kingswear Castle. I'm filming between the spars of one of these horrible fences, but there's the sound. It's not a Valenza, I shouldn't think. It's probably the MTU replacement. But that's the sound of an iconic British Railways design multiple unit. Been going since the mid-70s. Still going strong. One of the classic British designs. Well, we still led the world in railway building. What a shame it's mostly Japanese and Spanish now. But behind it, and when we leave on the coach, I'll get some footage as we go up over it. It's the iconic retaining wall you so often see in photographs of Penzance Station. I need to try and get a photograph of the train shed. Let's have a look. I'm afraid you're going to see some of the fence in it, but there it is. It's been much modified over the years, I think, but you've essentially got Brunel's train shed there from his original Penzance station. What a lovely site for a railway station, isn't it, eh? Now, I'm on the footpath that goes from Penzance to Mousehole, and of course one of the things that this part of Cornwall's famous for is St Michael's Mount, which is modelled, I don't know which is modelled on which. I think this is modelled on Mont Saint-Michel in France, but it's only about a sixth of the size in acreage really. 57 acres here. The unique thing about that I wanted to go and see was the little narrow gauge railway they've got that goes from the harbour right up the top, so I understand, into the kitchens, and that is designed to take provisions from the harbour, little harbour they got there, right up into the big house. No passengers carried on it, obviously. The family that still live there gave it to the National Trust. They've got a kind of an agreement whereby they actually maintain and run the estate on behalf of the National Trust. So the family that owned it still actually lives there and carries on. St Albans, St Aubreys, one of the two. I'll check it out and put it up later. But anyway, that's St Michael's Mount. And I'm going to see if I can zoom in. I've got my tripod set up because I've got a nice little wall here, so it should be easier to zoom in without getting too much out of it. That's about the closest I can get. That's looking at the top. The trouble with the tripod is it floats about a little bit. But there you go, that is St Michael's Mount. And as we pan back, a lovely seafront here at Penzance. And taking a wander round, we look across towards Mousehole. I'm not going to walk any further, but there's the old signal box there. Now the window's open, but I'm not sure that signal box is actually in use. I think it's a train crew depot now. So I'm pretty sure all this signalling is done from Paddington. Yeah, I know, nearly 300 miles away. And that's why, when anything goes wrong, oh, there's a signalling fault, we can't run any trains. In my dad's day, if there was a signalling fault, you got out the flagman and you run the trains under flag control between stations. It was much simpler. And there's the retaining wall. And the signpost for Penzance Station. Always been one of my ambitions to get down here, and now I've done it. I don't have to pay for a trip on the overnight Cornish Riviera sleeper. Haha. Brilliant. And there is the station sign for Penzance, and again the famous retaining wall behind it. I always had an ambition to get down here, and now I've done it without having to pay for a round trip on the Cornish Riviera overnight sleeper. Great stuff. Oh, there's a better view of the train shed there, but it's going to have to be through the fence. I'm afraid I can't do no better than that. Can I get close enough? Bear with me. I'm going to lift this up over the top of the fence, and I don't know what you'll be able to see, but there is the station in all its glory. There.
John made it, and Lisa and Belinda made it. 2 other ladies made it as well. Lady who fell over, I didn't see her go up there, but yeah, it was really nice over there though. It's like a fairy tale castle. You can see it now, look, the tide's come right in now, so they're going to have to get a boat now to come back. But hopefully there's enough boats, but I heard by the National Trust that the boats are going on strike at 1:30. So, and we're leaving now at 2:30, so. Yeah. But marvellous how that tide's come in the past half an hour, because I walked across there about 12:30 and it weren't in then. Oh, there's Marlene and John waving at the top of the castle there, so. You've got lovely gardens there. I didn't get a chance to look around the gardens, but I saw the gardens from above and they look really nice. You need at least 4 hours there, really.
There is.
They got 4 hours there because we're not leaving till 2:30, so 4 hours. So it's nice. So you get some nice photos over there. What now, wait? Yeah, see, I've done you all a favour. Coming to pick you up. I'm using my time. Aren't you happy?
Yes.
I hope you are anyway. Especially my nan and granddad.
Well, we've now moved along the coast. I'm in Mousehole. It's a lot closer to St Michael's Mount, because this is where you have to come to get up there. As you can see, the tide has come in, and there looks like one of the boats that they use to ferry people to and fro when the tide's in. Otherwise, there's a causeway that you walk between the two. But, excuse me, I just pan round now because there's Penzance over there and Newlyn and Mousehole. Lovely. Just having a pan round now, looking towards Mousehole. That's an interesting looking church up there. Yeah. There you go. I'll take a stroll up there and see what I can find. We're a bit closer now, and I could actually take a look in to the little village and the harbour. That's St Michael's Mount. There we go. That's almost as good as going there, isn't it? And save 24 quid. Can't get over that price, £24 to visit the house and the gardens. But at least there's one contrast between here and Scotland. There's toilets, plenty of them, and they're free. That's it.
Which is when you said, oh, because that's you said that.
Well, I'm standing on a street corner in Mousehole. It's supposed to be one of the oldest towns in England. Real Cornish people wouldn't want to be regarded as part of England, but there you go. But it's rather nice. And there's certainly some interesting buildings as you look up round the corner, including that clock tower, which is rather intriguing. Yeah, quite an ornate design. Yeah, stand in my way, that's just it. I don't care. I wish people would be just a little bit considerate. But there you go. There we are. I wonder if you need a key to get in there. A wall full of keyholes, look at that. Interesting. I thought this building had some age to it. Mousehole Institute, 1883. There we are. Now we're getting to an interesting bit, I think. Well, I found out what that building was. It was the old town hall and a bank. And there's a little plaque on there commemorating the town charter of 1595 to I think it said 1995. But certainly some interesting things here. Just one final view and a fudge shop. Couldn't have a tourist town without a fudge shop because you're not in Cornwall. And that's it. Goodbye from Mousehole. We're a bit closer now, and I could actually take a look in to the little village and the harbour. That's St Michael's Mount. There we go. It's almost as good as going there, isn't it? And save 24 quid. Can't get over that price, £24 to visit the house and the gardens. But at least there's one contrast between here and Scotland. There's toilets, plenty of them, and they're free. That's it.
Which is when you said, oh, because as you said that sentence.
Well, I'm standing on a street corner in Mousehole. It's supposed to be one of the oldest towns in England. Real Cornish people wouldn't want to be regarded as part of England, but there you go. But it's rather nice. And there's certainly some interesting buildings as you look up round the corner, including that clock tower, which is rather intriguing. Yeah, quite an ornate design. Yeah, stand in my way, that's just it. I don't care. I wish people would be just a little bit considerate. But there you go. There we are. I wonder if you need a key to get in there. A wall full of keyholes, look at that. Interesting. I thought this building had some age to it. Mousehole Institute, 1883. There we are. Now we're getting to an interesting bit, I think. Well, I found out what that building was. It was the old town hall and a bank. And there's a little plaque on there commemorating the town charter of 1595 to I think it said 1995. But certainly some interesting things here. Just one final view and a fudge shop. Couldn't have a tourist town without a fudge shop, could you? Not in Cornwall. And that's it. Goodbye from Mousehole.